So my older brother, 33, has been married to his wife, Molly, 32, for 5 years. They have a 2-year-old daughter together. Recently, I found out my brother had been cheating on Molly with a friend of mine. My friend confessed to me because she couldn't handle the guilt anymore. Once I had all the proof, I cut her off immediately. There were hundreds of screenshots showing that the affair had been going on for almost a year since they met at my birthday party last year. My brother and I have always been best friends, so I was shocked when I found out about his affair. I was disgusted that he had been betraying his wife because that's something I never expected from him. Molly is a nice girl and deserves better, so I knew she had to know. Even if she decided to leave him, it would be her choice. About a week ago, I confronted my brother and told him he needed to come clean to his wife. I invited him over to my house and let him know I had all the proof. At first, he denied it, but I showed him the screenshots, so he couldn't deny it any longer. He started sobbing uncontrollably, saying it began as harmless flirting, but quickly escalated. I was disgusted and told him he had to tell Molly the truth. He begged me not to make him do it, saying it would ruin his life, but I told him he should have thought about that before the affair. I made it clear that if he didn't tell her, I would. A few days passed, and my brother and Molly were still acting normally online, so I knew he hadn't told her. I decided to talk to Molly myself. When I called her, she mentioned they were about to go on a beach trip for their anniversary. She was so happy, and I couldn't take it anymore, so I told her the truth and sent her the screenshots. She was thankful and hung up. Later that day, my brother called, panicking because Molly had left with their daughter and wasn't responding to his calls. He asked if I had told her, and I admitted I had. He started shouting and accusing me of ruining his marriage. I couldn't handle it, so I disconnected the call and blocked him. Then yesterday, I found out he had been served with divorce papers. Molly was also filing for full custody of their daughter, demanding alimony, the house, and most of their assets. It was a crazy list of demands, but honestly, my brother deserves it. He cheated on her for a year, and it probably would have continued if my friend hadn't come clean. He's been texting me relentlessly from different numbers, blaming me and demanding I fix it. He says I'm the reason he might lose his daughter. I've been ignoring him, but it's getting harder because now our parents are involved. They believe I overstepped by telling Molly about the affair, thinking it wasn't my place. They even accused me of ruining 3 lives, my brother's, Molly's, and their daughters. My parents said Molly loved my brother more than he loved her, and if he had confessed, they might have worked things out. They believe their daughter would have benefited from her parents staying together. They feel if my brother had told Molly himself, the outcome could have been different. So, in their eyes, I am partially to blame for the divorce. I don't agree. I gave my brother a chance to tell Molly the truth, but he didn't. I never promised to keep his secret, and I made it clear that if he didn't come clean, I would. It's unfair to blame me for the divorce when all I did was tell Molly the truth. Am I the jerk for telling my sister-in-law that my brother was cheating on her? Update. I've decided to cut off my brother and the rest of my family. In the past few days, they've shown their true colors by defending my brother and blaming me. Their mental gymnastics to make me the villain is insane. Ever since he was served with divorce papers, not just my parents but other relatives have also criticized me. They think I should have stayed out of it because it wasn't my business. I'm sure my brother never would have told Molly, and the lies would have continued. Saying I should have stayed out of it is ridiculous because the woman he cheated with was my close friend. The only reason I found out was because of my friendship with his affair partner. Expecting me to stay uninvolved is unrealistic. Everyone is pressuring me to apologize to my brother, forgetting that none of this would have happened if he had stayed loyal. Molly was a wonderful wife and a lovely person. I couldn't keep this from her, especially after hearing how excited she was for their anniversary trip. She loved my brother, and what he did to her was disgusting. Only the lowest of the low could cheat on their wife with someone they barely knew. Even after being with Molly for so long and having a daughter, My brother still went out of his way to cheat. If he did it once, he might have done it in the past or would do it again. For Molly's sake, I had to let her know. She deserves better, and I didn't care if it was my brother I was exposing. He screwed up, and my family can twist the facts all they want, but I know I did the right thing. As long as I stay true to myself and my beliefs, I don't care what anyone says about me. Update 2. It's been 2 weeks since I blocked my family. No one has tried to contact me, and honestly, good riddance. I don't want to talk to them either. Recently, Molly got in touch with me, thanking me again for telling her the truth. She called from a new number, so I assumed she changed it after filing for divorce. She's now living in a spare apartment belonging to a friend who only returns once a year. My brother doesn't know the address, so she's not worried about him finding her. He had tried contacting her on her old number, but she can respond. Molly told me she had suspected he wasn't being truthful for months, but thought she was paranoid. The day I told her about the affair and sent the screenshots, she decided to leave him immediately. She packed her things and left within an hour, not crying until she was out of the house. I felt terrible hearing this and apologized for my brother's actions. She told me I had nothing to apologize for and that I did the right thing by telling her the truth. She said I was the only decent person in my family since everyone else wanted her to reconsider and go back to my brother. My parents texted her, suggesting she stay with my brother for their daughter's sake. My brother's texts were all about how horrible he felt and how he couldn't survive without her and their daughter. He didn't seem to care about her feelings, which really sucked. We spoke on the phone for a little while longer until she had to go. I wished her luck with the divorce proceedings. It was a nice conversation, and I felt better knowing Molly and my niece were doing all right. I needed reassurance that I did the right thing, and Molly provided that. Update 3. 10 days have passed since my last update. The divorce proceedings have started, and Molly's doing great. I've visited my niece a couple of times, and it's going well. The only one not doing well is my brother. My parents have been guilt-tripping me, texting me from a new number to tell me about my brother's miserable state. Apparently, he's been drinking himself to sleep, losing weight, and has dark circles from lack of sleep. They even sent photos to prove it. I feel bad for him, but I don't understand what this has to do with me. The divorce has started, and there's no turning back. He should be focusing on not losing everything instead of trying to gain my sympathy. My parents keep texting, and I'm curious about where this will lead. If they don't get to the point soon, I'll have to ask them myself. I'm tired just thinking about the conversation, but I want to know in case it's something helpful for Molly. I know some might think I have no loyalty to my family, but my brother wasn't loyal to his family either. 3 days after the last update, I finally responded to my parents. I asked them what they wanted me to do since I couldn't stop the divorce. They wanted me to talk to Molly and convince her to change her demands. If my brother agreed to her terms, he would lose everything he had worked for, including their house and both cars. She was also asking for a lot of money in the divorce settlement and alimony. They wanted me to tell her it was a bad idea and that she would ruin my brother's life if she went through with this. They knew my brother didn't stand a chance against Molly's top-notch lawyer, so they wanted me to manipulate her into letting go of some demands. They said since I was the reason their marriage fell apart, this was the least I could do for my brother and family. They believed I owed them this and thought it would convince me to side with them. I was surprised they didn't mention custody of my niece, so I asked. They admitted my brother wasn't fighting for custody. He just wanted visiting rights and to keep his assets. He thought Molly was better suited to raising their daughter and was okay with paying child support. I was astounded by his selfishness, but relieved he wasn't fighting for custody. He was more interested in his money and assets than being a father. I listened to my parents and then blocked their number. I recorded the conversation and sent it to Molly, hoping it would help her. She hasn't replied yet, but I hope she reconsiders giving him visitation rights. He doesn't deserve it after being a terrible father and husband. Update 5. Molly heard the recording and was very upset. She called me a few hours ago, thankful for the recording, and said she would ensure he doesn't get visiting rights. I could tell she had been crying, and I wanted to console her, but I didn't know how. She had been cheated on by the man she spent so many years with and now found out he didn't care about his own daughter. I can't imagine how she finds the strength to face him during mediation without feeling the urge to smack him. She probably does, but she restrains herself, showing more strength than I could muster. I can't understand how my parents still support him after everything and even have the nerve to tell me what to do. That last phone call confirmed I did the right thing by blocking them. They're disgusting people, and I want nothing to do with this family anymore. If I could, I would change my last name to avoid any association with them. My brother is the worst of them all, and I hope Molly gets everything she deserves and makes him pay. Update 6. It's been a few months since the last update. My parents and I haven't spoken, and I haven't seen my brother, so it's been great. They probably realized I sold them out after the phone call reached Molly and decided not to talk to me anymore, but it was too late. Molly got everything she asked for and moved back into her old house with their daughter, while my brother is living with our parents. He has to give up more than half his income for alimony and child support, and I couldn't be happier about it. He deserves this, and I feel vindicated. Molly and I are still in touch, and I visit her and my niece a couple of times a month. She even bought me a professional camera from the settlement money as a thank you for all the help. It was a nice gesture, and she now calls me the better sibling, which is funny but also sad because we both lost someone we loved because of his actions. It's fine, though. We'll get over it.